This quick lesson is all about getting you prepared to build the content for an informative speech. Informative speeches are meant to provide information to the audience, but it's important to think about who your audience is, who you are as a speaker, and then find the middle ground. There are a few do's and don'ts when it comes to informative speeches. For the do's, although choosing a topic that seems familiar to everyone may seem like a good idea, unless you're providing them with a different perspective or enlightening them in some way, it's quite possible that you will lose the attention of the audience. The don'ts, this isn't the time to let the audience know how you feel about a subject. You're not trying to get them to change their mind or attitude, you're simply providing information. A controversial topic isn't necessarily a bad thing unless you start taking a stand and then trying to convince them of your points. That's when you move from informative to persuasive. Now that you have your topic idea, you should consider how you're going to organize the main points of your speech. Organizational patterns dictate how you move from one point to the next and the order of those main points. For informative speaking, there are three main patterns: time, space, and topic. To help illustrate that these patterns can be used for any topic, I will be using the 7 ancient wonders of the world as my informative speech topic. I will walk you through how each pattern will change how the main points are organized. The time pattern, also called chronological, is organizing the main points based on the order of the information. So if I were using the 7 ancient wonders of the world and I wanted to talk about them in the order of how old they are, I would start with the first main point as the Great Pyramid. My second main point would be the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. And my third main point would be the Temple of Artemis. Now, you have more than 3 main points. This is just an illustration of how they would be ordered. Another example of time would be baking a cake. If you start at the beginning of the recipe and work your way through completing it for your informative speech, that is another form of chronological speaking. The space pattern, also called spatial, is organizing the points based on location or area. So again, if I were using the 7 ancient wonders and I wanted to organize them based on how far each of them is located from the United States, I would order them like this: the statue of Zeus, then the Temple of Artemis, and then so on. Another example of the space pattern would be if you were describing how the HCC campus is set up. You would pick a starting point and then work your way through until you're back at that same starting point. Lastly, the topic pattern. This is also known as topical. This is when you organize based upon a topic or a category. So let's say I wanted to organize the 7 ancient wonders based on size or height. That would be my focus. So I would organize them in the following way. I would talk about the Great Pyramid, then the Lighthouse of Alexandria, and then the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, and so forth. Another example of the topical pattern is if you were giving a speech on how to be successful in an online class. Your first main point may be to set up a schedule. Second, you might talk about how to interact frequently with your peers. And the last point that you might make might be to communicate with your professor on a regular basis. These are all set up by very specific focus. Informative speeches require a bit of prep, but choosing your topic and your organizational pattern really helps keep you on task and will make planning the rest of your speech much easier.